Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to join you today in the Global Policy Dialogue on Global Governance Innovation, hosted by the Global Governance Innovation Network, in partnership with Stimson Center and Georgetown University. The Secretary General's report on our common agenda is a bold and compelling vision for a more inclusive and sustainable future. It aims to reinforce and reinvigorate the collective power of our United Nations, the pinnacle of multilateralism. Our common agenda contains recommendations across 4 broad areas: solidarity between peoples and future generations, a new social contract anchored in human rights, better management of critical global commons, and global public goods that deliver equitably and sustainably for all. The report embraces solidarity, promotes true economic growth, thinks long-term, and calls for a stronger, more networked, and inclusive multilateralism. The report is a product of extensive consultation that was spread over 2 years with 1.5 million respondents from all of the 193 member states as part of the UN75 global survey titled "The Future We Want, the United Nations We Need." After the introduction of the Our Common Agenda report in the General Assembly by the Secretary General last September, I was pleased that the resolution on the follow-up was adopted by the plenary of the General Assembly by consensus on 15th of November. Ladies and gentlemen, General Assembly Resolution 76/6 provided me the mandate to initiate a process of follow-up on our common agenda, enabling all member states, the United Nations system, and all relevant partners to begin consideration of the over 90 proposals from the report. Following the adoption of this resolution, I decided to convene a series of open, inclusive, and informal thematic consultations. These consultations provide the Secretary General with a strategic platform not only to inform member states on his thinking regarding the follow-up to the report, but also allow member states and observers to weigh in on their various proposals. These thematic consultations cover 5 different clusters of recommendations from the OCA report. It includes scaling up of the SDGs, accelerating sustainable financing and building trust, promoting peace, international law and digital cooperation, preparing for the future, and enhancing international cooperation. Spanning over 2 days, the consultations will offer member states, representatives of the United Nations system, and relevant stakeholders, including civil society, youth, academia, and private sector, to comment on the various recommendations. After the conclusion of the consultations, my office will circulate the summaries of the discussions for all clusters, reflecting on the views of the membership and other relevant participants on the various proposals. I'm hopeful that the summaries will chart a way forward for the implementation of the various recommendations contained in our Common Agenda report. Dear friends, I'm very pleased to note that the entire United Nations membership and the wider UN system is actively engaging in these consultations, be it informal plenary debates or panel discussions with relevant partners. In the ongoing consultations, member states have consistently demonstrated a willingness to work together to consider the Secretary General's visionary proposal, and they are showing a collective political will to move this agenda forward. Ladies and gentlemen, our common agenda reminds us of our obligations towards future generations. As the President of the United Nations General Assembly, I'm strongly committed to working towards these obligations. I will continue to work hard to bring together the best of humanity, to offer the best solutions, and to present a more hopeful, unifying message in these challenges during these challenging times. I thank you.